Ba-da-bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Melanie. This is Adventures in Hostessville, and this is the 8th episode of the Vintage Magazine Project. And today is the last week of the 1926 Physical Culture magazine. It is 6:35 a.m., and I am about to start my fitness regimen. So the vast majority of this magazine is articles that people have written in saying how they fixed their life with fitness. So there are articles like Natural Methods Cured My Quinsy, or How I Double-Crossed the Grim Reaper, or I Throttled Fat. Each of these methods really involves getting up with the sun. So I am doing that. And then I'm supposed to exercise first, but May Cornwall, the teacher who's sad because her kids told her she was as broad as a barn door, she said that it's too much excitement for her heart to get out of bed right away. So she does her head exercises and stretching in bed first. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm exercising my neck. It's amazing what people find stimulating in this book. The woman who wrote I Raised 15 Children in a New York City Apartment won't let her kids have beef because she says it is as stimulating as whiskey. Okay, so now my heart is sufficiently activated to not be overwhelmed by the act of getting out of bed, so I can get up and do the rest of my exercises. I have a confession. I already had gotten out of bed, but I had to. There is nobody else to start the camera except for me. But now I am out here and I can do the rest of what Bernarr Macfadden calls setting up exercises. Now, if you have not watched episode 5 on Bernarr Macfadden, go watch it. This will all make a lot more sense if you know just what a nut job he is. So these setting up exercises, they are for people who are not trying to gain weight, not trying to lose weight, just trying to be healthy. And the general consensus of all the physical culturists that wrote those articles is that they should be done in the open air. The guy who double-crossed the Grim Reaper, he lives in Arizona, and he says that if it's too hot in town, you can just go to the corral and rent a burro to take to you where it's more comfortable. I really want to rent a burro, but I can't. So it's back again to May Cornell, who says that she uses her landlady's sleeping porch, and while I may not have a burro, I do have a sleeping porch. So I'm out here with the windows all open doing my setting up exercises. Now the exercises that I am doing, I got out of Bernarr Macfadden's book, Exercise for Physical Culture, which came out in 1930, which happens to be the same year that Bernarr Macfadden goes to Italy, meets with Mussolini, and offers to train his fascist soldiers. Okay, now I'm down on the floor. My regular setting up exercises are done, but now I need to roll on the ground for 15 minutes because May Cornell says that that is the best way to reduce overlarge hips. I don't know if my hips are overlarge or not, but the guy who throttled fat also says it's important to reduce your hips so that you do not huff and puff like a porpoise on the stairs. So by the time this magazine comes out in 1926, Mussolini is fully in power. The March to Rome has happened in 1922, and right after that, the king makes him prime minister. And by 1926, he has had all sorts of time to name himself the secretary of everything. So it is straight up a one-party totalitarian regime at this point. And Mussolini is actually pretty into physical fitness. He really likes having his picture taken shirtless almost as much as Bernarr Macfadden does. But he wants the Italian people to be physically fit as well. Really what it is he's annoyed that they keep losing at football and tennis to the French and the English. In 1925, something is created called the Opera Nazionale dopo Lavoro, which is it's like the after-work club. So it does provide access to athletics and athletic facilities and also culture and plays and that for the working people. But it's also now your only choice. There's nowhere else you can go. All of your officials are fascist party leaders, and you have to pay dues. And then in 1926, he's like, this is great, we should be doing it with the kids. So he creates the Opera Nazionale Balilla, which is the youth organization. And there's different segments for all the different ages. I don't remember them all, but the littlest kids who are 6 to 8, their group is called Figli della Lupa, which means the children of the she-wolf, which is the greatest name ever, and now we can't use it for anything. Thanks, fascists. By 1930, Mussolini actually thinks that he is doing a pretty great job with this until he meets Bernarr Macfadden. Okay, exercises are done. I am finally ready for breakfast. I'm gonna go with what the guy who double-crossed the Grim Reaper eats, and that is whole wheat, which has been soaked overnight. It is not cooked, it is raw, and unsulfured dates. So as you may recall, Macfadden is always trying to get into politics, and he's sort of successful. And by 1929, 1930, he has sort of talked his way into this Conference on Child Health and Protection. So it's your juvenile welfare kind of thing. And he decides that then he needs to go on a tour of Europe and see how the other countries are doing it, like you do. And one of the countries he goes to is Italy. When he's there, he meets the Pope and Mussolini. Because what else are you going to do on vacation in Italy? So, well, that's real chewy. Whoa, no wonder they tell you to chew your food 100 times before you swallow it. Maybe I'll have a date. So Macfadden gets an audience with Mussolini. And it's like love at first sight. You know, Mussolini comes striding in like he does, this big guy, and he's got this heavy handshake. And Macfadden's like, my brother. You know, he just loves him. Macfadden goes back to America and tells everybody what America needs is a Mussolini. It's important to acknowledge that we've got a lot of hindsight on this. And in 1930, yes, certainly Mussolini is already a totalitarian dictator. But fascism doesn't have the connotation that it has now. It's just the name of their party, and we don't have all these decades of all the horrible things that fascists have done. And America at this point is really still trying to keep up and improve trade relations with Italy, and their big concern is the Bolsheviks, right? They're more worried about Russia, less worried about Italy at this point. Also, in terms of Macfadden, I don't really think that Bernarr Macfadden spends a lot of time thinking about policy and ethos. You know, he's just like, you like fitness? I like fitness. Oh, you like raw fruit? Me too. Like, he's apparently overwhelmed by all of the raw foods that Mussolini has put out for him to eat. And Mussolini's like, oh yeah, it's great here in Italy. You know, we can have grapes all year round. And if there's things we can't get, we can just get them from Africa. And Mussolini is like, do you want to see my soldiers? And Macfadden's like, yeah, let's do it. And Mussolini is super proud. But then Macfadden is like, I think I could do better. Like, here, give me a second. Let me try something. And Macfadden offers to take a bunch of these fascist soldiers back to America and train them to be better men. And both the Italian and the American governments go for it. I just looked up how many calories are in a date, by the way. I just ate like a cheeseburger's worth of dates. But the guy who double-crossed the Grim Reaper was, in fact, trying to put on weight, so that was probably the goal. My goals are somewhat different. So now it's time to go for a walk, which is a little hard to do with the camera and the microphone and everything. So Bernarr Macfadden says that a good substitute can be marching in place outside like a good Italian soldier. So these 40 Italian soldiers show up in New York Harbor, and it's a huge deal. They go to City Hall where they are met by 10,000 people. Like, the Italian consulate is there, Mayor Jimmy Walker is there. He gets completely carried away and yells out, "And viva il Duce!" Which, ooh. And then a couple days later, they go to Washington, D.C., and they do it all again. It's all of this sightseeing and parties. And they meet Herbert Hoover in the Oval Office of the White House. And then it's time to get started. And he takes them off to his health resort in Danville, New York, which is out of the city, but still close enough in that they're still getting all these invitations to all these parties and things. And finally, Macfadden is like, no. We need some focus here. Italians, get your stuff. We're going to Tennessee. Okay, I'm back inside. I am all bundled up in this heavy, weighty blanket and a sweater. And, I was going to put on these gloves. And I've got a towel on my head. I'm supposed to be trying to get myself to sweat out toxins. I don't know why necessarily a towel, but that's what they say. And I kind of like it. I kind of look like a cross between Norma Desmond and Carmen Miranda. And I am also supposed to drink some hot water. And I can put in it either lemon or orange. And because I was feeling not super satisfied by my breakfast, I'm going to just go crazy and do both. So Macfadden takes all of these Italians down to Tennessee to this military academy that he owns. Like, he bought it. First off, have to go on the Macfadden diet, which frankly is not that different than the Italian diet. But he really hates cigarettes and alcohol. And Italian soldiers love both those things. So that's sort of a thing. And it's not just Macfadden. I mean, the country's in prohibition. So suddenly these guys who were drinking wine with every single meal, like since they were kids, it's now like, here's your milk. And Macfadden loves milk too. Like, if there's anything he thinks can't be cured by fasting, you can definitely cure it with a lot of milk. So these guys are drinking gallons of milk every single day. Oh. And they are doing their setting up exercises every day. There's also tumbling and gymnastics and pyramids. But most of it is sports, which is great because what we need is more ways for fascist soldiers to be competitive. But they play basketball and boxing and wrestling and swimming and tennis, and he teaches them American football and baseball. They love baseball. It's like their favorite thing. They don't have it at this point at all. In Italy, there is no baseball at all. And so Macfadden, first off, he's like, oh, their throwing muscles are so underdeveloped. What do you expect from a country that plays soccer? But they get really into it. So their like classroom time is split in front of the chalkboard. There's English lessons and then there's baseball rules. The guys are there for just shy of 6 months. And at the end of it, Macfadden takes all of their measurements again, and it works. It works. The guys are stronger than they were before. Like this one guy, for example, one of the things they were tested on was how many times they could do a squat holding a 103-pound barbell, which seems very specific, but I'm guessing that the bar was 3 pounds probably. Anyway, so when this guy first gets to America, he can do 18, which sounds like a tremendous amount to me. I'm not sure I could do 1. But at the end of his 6 months, this guy does 100 of them. And that's the thing, like Macfadden is a crazy guy. But he does understand fitness, and like Mussolini made the trains run on time, right? So there's all these like times and places that people are crazy or horrible or whatever, but there's still like a thing that they do well. And so what do? Do we throw that away? Do we pick and choose? Do we let things be shades of gray? I don't know. I do know I'm supposed to drink 3 more cups of this until I am very sweaty. So here I go. Here I am. I am outside. That's why I was needing to get so hot, because the final step of my morning fitness regimen is to take a snow bath. That's right, I'm going to bathe in this snow. Here we go. And I am, going down here. Okay. Oh. Get my armpits. All right, here's the thing. I just saw a picture of a little kid doing this in Siberia recently, so it's not like it's that bad here. In fact, Stalin created something he called the GTO, which stands for Ready for Work and Defense. And it was like the presidential physical fitness exam, except for it's like, can you swim a kilometer carrying a bayonet? Or can you walk for a mile in a gas mask? How far can you throw this grenade? Woo! And speaking of presidential physical fitness, it's not like the U.S. is exempt from all of this stuff. Oh! And my neighbor has a dog. Thanks. Oh, that squirrel has a McDonald's bag.